Hi, my name is Marco. I bought a Giant Dailytour e+1 e-bike. And I wanted to do this video because before I bought this bike, I was looking at reviews on YouTube. I couldn't find anything about this particular bike and its cousin, the Anytour. So I wanted to make this video to talk to you a little bit about the bike and what the differences are, and maybe that will help someone make a buying decision. So let me turn the camera around and show you the bike. So this is the bike, and first off, the main difference between the Anytour and this one, the Dailytour, is the shifting. So on this particular bike down here, you have the integrated shifter, and this is a Shimano Nexus system. On the Anytour, you have a normal drive train, which is, I believe, a Shimano Diore. And so that's the big difference between the two bikes. The frame and everything else seems to be the same. It's just the shifting. Now, because I'm not a techie, like a bike tech, I went to talk to some professionals about integrated versus normal drive train. And I got various opinions. So an older gentleman told me that he doesn't like this particular system because it's closed. That means they don't have access to get inside there and to do some repairs or some adjustments. And another professional told me that, well, he doesn't see it that way. He says that, maybe a couple of years ago he wouldn't have recommended integrated shifting as well because it wasn't very reliable yet. But he says as of late these systems have become much better. Maybe also as a result of making many more of those, these systems have become pretty reliable. He says one big advantage is that because it's a closed system, there's no dirt that gets inside, so there's not as much wear and tear, and yeah, so that's a big plus. He said from their experience, when something like this breaks, it's usually due to a manufacturing defect, and that usually happens in the very beginning of its life. When that happens, then of course it's the Shimano warranty that will cover that. But he says they've seen bikes going many years without any problems with this kind of shifting. And he said I should be fine for 25 or 30,000 kilometers without it needing any maintenance. Now, this is also combined here with a belt, so this doesn't have a chain. This is a belt that's not lubed up, so there's no oil that could, that dirt or grime could stick to, which also lowers the maintenance. So there's basically nothing to do on this thing for several thousand kilometers, according to this person. So I hope he's right. Knock on wood. And the only other difference between the Anytour and the Dailytour seems to be that here there's a shock absorber built into the seat post on the Dailytour. The Anytour apparently doesn't have that. The rest, frame, everything else seems to be the same on both of those bikes. And yeah, so this shifter, by the way, is an 8-speed shifter. The motor is a Yamaha motor, which is buttery smooth, so there's absolutely no problem with that. It's a lot of fun to bike with this thing. The battery is a 500 watt hour battery, and so to give you an idea, yesterday I biked 55 kilometers, and when I came back home I still had 70% of battery power left. So yeah, I think you can go pretty far, probably 100 or 110 kilometers if you are mostly on the lowest assist setting. Another reason why I bought this bike is because I think it looks nicer, and that's in part due to the fact that Shimano Giant integrate their components well. I can show you maybe up here on the handlebar. You see that this display here and also the control unit here is nicely integrated into a handlebar, so I think that looks nice. To shift gears you have to twist this, as opposed to like if you had a normal drivetrain, you would have the two shifters, which everyone pretty much knows. Other than that, you have disc brakes, which work really well. You have a really nice shock here that works well. You have an integrated light here for your night vision, and this up here is a running daylight. So this should be on all the time. The tires, Schwalbe tires, which I believe have been developed for e-bikes. They're really comfortable and they're pretty puncture proof. I want to add to that my girlfriend bought an e-bike at the same time, which is a Kalkov Endeavor 3.0 Move. That's what it's called. It's very similar to this one, and you know, the only difference is really the components. She has a regular drive train, which is a lower Shimano. It's not Dior, it's one of the lower models. But that bike works just as well. It's got a Bosch motor. It's very comparable to this one, actually. Not much difference there. So you know, both of the bikes are still new. I prefer this one look-wise because you know the stuff is integrated a little nicer. The one little issue with her bike is that because it's a deep frame, so it doesn't have the crossbar. Some people refer to that as a ladies' bike. I don't know why. The problem with that is that because it's an open frame, a deep frame without the crossbar, the company didn't pre-drill holes to put a bottle holder there, so she has to put it on a handlebar, which isn't ideal, but I think there's ways around that too. The only slight, it's not an issue, it's just a preference thing of mine, is with this bike, the handlebars are not straight, they're curved in a little bit, and so what happens when I bike and my hands get sweaty, sometimes my hands slide in because the handlebars are bent slightly. It's not a problem, it's just probably just, it takes an adjustment of mine. But you can actually change this handlebar and put a straight one on that. That way, that problem is solved. I just want to say one quick thing about e-biking in general. I hear a lot of people making comments about people who who ride e-bikes. All I can say is that it's a lot of fun. The bike assists you up to 25 kilometers. After that, you're on your own. And by that, I mean you're really on your own, because this thing weighs, I think, 22 kilos. That's a lot of weight. So once you get beyond 25 kilometers, you want to go faster than that, you have to really pedal to get this thing going because it's so heavy. Also, when you're in the lowest eco setting, the motor doesn't assist you a lot, so you actually do pedal quite a bit, so you can still get your exercise, and the bike can help you, if there's a steep hill coming up, so you don't exhaust yourself completely, which with the end result is that you're on the bike longer, you're enjoying your bike more, you're going further, you're using it more often, because it's not always such a strain. Also for me personally, because I have back pain, the upright seating position on this bike is very comfortable, especially with that shock in the seat post. Makes it very comfortable for me, so I can go 80-100 kilometers without a problem now, which is not something I could do on my road bike because I was leaning over so much. So that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions or comments, just put it down here in the comment section, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Good luck.